Okay, so the next project that are on the cards, it's going to be quite a long time, sort of long-term project, is engine swapping the Fabia. This is my dad's one, and this is actually a very nice car. I've done a lot on the outside and everything, as you can see. This used to be Borgo standard classic. Check out my crazy Christmas jumper. But yes, used to be a bog standard classic, but we now have Bohemia sport seats, Seat Ibiza carpet, VRS interior, all the nice bits and pieces. It's just sort of like a mess up of, well, mash up I should say, or mess up of various bits and pieces. But there's one thing that does let this car down, and that is the engine, which I should probably show you. Do apologise. There we go. It is a 1.4 MPI, which, not usually bad engines. They're most of the time quite reliable, very simple mechanics. You know, it's an old pushrod engine. But the problem we've got is this engine is, well, to put it politely, buggered. It's got quite a few mechanical running faults. It keeps cutting out, randomly going onto 3 cylinders. We've changed things like spark plugs, coil packs, all sorts of various things. Still got fault codes coming up, and the only thing we can actually think of it being is the wiring itself. In some places it could be broken because we've replaced most of the sort of hardware, and it also just cuts out as well when it's cold. Like, you start it up and it'll just run for a bit and then just shut off, just cause a lot of issues. So yeah, we've got an engine swap, which will be courtesy of this Polo here, which, as you can tell, I have sold quite a few bits off already. Luckily nothing nothing we actually need, just body panels and stuff. But this has the 1.4 16 valve engine. I think the engine code is BRZ. Oh, sorry, BBZ, I mean. So it's the 100 horse. And this engine's very good. It runs well. It doesn't seem to have any issues. It will be getting, when it's pulled out, it will be getting stripped down and, you know, everything checked. If it needs cams and stuff, it will be getting put in, because it does have a slight rattle, which is coming from the top end, possibly lifters or something. So yeah, this will be getting autopsied and sorted out. Basically, whatever it needs, it'll be getting, and then it'll be going into here. So the MPI is going to get chucked out, removed and thrown away, and the 1.4 16 valve will be going in. Things worthy of note: all the wire and everything seems pretty much the same. As I say, this is stripped out because, oh yeah, I put the carpet into my dad's other Fabia. Yeah, wiring and everything takes the same route, all seems the same behind the dash as far as I can tell. Even sold the centre bit there, which I was quite surprised about. Friend and I just shoved a load of CDs there, because it's got a CD changer, as you can see. Takes lots of CDs. Yeah, it's pretty much ready to be stripped down. See if it actually starts. Yeah, it's got a fair few electrical issues. Handbrake light's flashing because the handbrake's actually broken. And the starter motor is knackered as well. You can possibly hear the little tap that it's got there. that seems to be coming from the top end. Not too worried about it. So say the engine's going to get stripped down and rebuilt and all that. It's also quite nice to put this dashboard into the Fabia as well. So yes. So yeah, it runs really well. There's plenty of power there. Not quite as powerful as my PD130, but you know. Something just occurred on the roof there. This is the MPI. Which of course needs fuel because they do like freaking 18 miles to the gallon. I don't know, this one uses a lot of fuel, like a stupid amount of fuel. So yeah, that's it. That's it running now. This one's got a really bad tap as well. It's just not healthy. It's just really not a healthy engine. So yes. Okay, so this is the VW Polo that I'm in the process of pulling to bits. Got the front end and everything off of it yesterday. Today I plan to get the engine out. Inside, pretty much the same. Got the dash out, all the wiring as well. That ran along to the back of the car. That's all been unclipped and brought forwards. You can possibly just see it's all just sitting down there. The reason I've done that is because it means I can just throw scrap metal and stuff into the back of the car and not worry about damaging wiring, which is good. So that's all sitting there ready to come out with the rest of the loom. So yeah, the heater box and everything will probably come out as well, because that's all got air conditioning in it, which as far as I remember did work. The pump and everything ran, so that's all good. Yeah, engine's coming out as well. So that's going to be today's job. And if anyone forgot, it's going into that, which is the Fabia MPI with a, to put it politely, broken engine. Yeah, it's had it. So it's a really good car, just let down by a really crap engine. So yeah, that twin cam will be going in, so it should be good fun. Okay, so we're at the stage now where the engine's out of the Polo, as you can see. Not really much to say. Got it out in about an hour, I would say. It was not too bad to do. I've done quite a few of these, so you kind of know what to expect, but there's really not much holding the engines in, to be fair. Just a few mounts and connections and things. But yes, subframe will be coming out next as well, because this subframe is different to the one in the Fabia. Reason being is this engine has the exhaust mounted at the front, so the exhaust runs underneath the subframe. As you can see, there's an arch there, whereas the MPIs and the Fabias, the exhaust comes out the back of the engine, and if I remember, it goes over the top. I think it basically goes through this void here. So yeah, all that will need to be changed, which not a big issue. I did the same on that when it was turned into a TDI, only just reversed what I just said there. So yeah, because that went from a 1.2 petrol. There's a video on YouTube of it. So yes, that's all done. The engine just over here, as you can see. That's the 1.4 16 valve twin cam engine, which will be going in. At the moment it's 100 horse, but it's going to get stripped down and a few modifications done to it. Also various things like this possible oil leak. I'm not sure if it's a leak or if it's just where somebody's not bothered to use a funnel on multiple occasions. But yeah, it's going to get stripped down, checked, possibly get it ported as well, since it'll be that far stripped down, new head gasket, just basically rebuilt. So yeah, then it'll be going into the Fabia. So tonight what I plan to do is work on the interior loom, get all that out. This is all the dash loom, as you can see. Just runs up in there. The reason I'm taking this out is because I think it is different to the MPIs. I'm not 100% sure, but it has a lot of nice features on it. It has air conditioning as well, so this will all be coming out and going into there. Air conditioning is not a hard thing to fit if you've got a parts vehicle and everything this far stripped out. I did the same with that as well when I converted it, because that didn't used to have aircon, now it does. So yeah, it's actually quite a fun job, this. Totally fine. So yeah, it should be quite a good car when it's done. Get rid of the crappy MPI, which is somewhat buggered, to put it politely. It's just had it, rattles and has a lot of issues. So yes, engine swap. Okay, so on to another day now, and the dash loom and everything's now out as well. I just shoved the dashboard back in, but there's nothing in behind it. It's all here. It's a speedo cluster. So that's the body wiring loom, complete with all the modules still plugged into it. And underneath, you can't really see, but that's the Hvac unit with all the AC and everything built in. So yeah, this car's more or less going to go for scrap soon. Got the exhaust, possibly, and the subframe to take off, and the rear axle as well. And that's pretty much it. The rest of it's just, yeah, scrap. The seats coming out because they're going to my friend. Same with the ones up there. And yeah, then we can start putting all that stuff into there. But first we'll need to rip all the electrics and engine and everything out of this car first. I think I showed in another video, but yeah, there's the engine. So yes, this is going to be a very good fun project. So yeah, stay tuned for more. Hello, well, I thought I'd give everybody a wee look at the Fabia MPI 16 valve project, which I could call it, I guess. This is the Fabia that my dad has. It's a 2000 reg MPI classic. Well, it was a classic, it's been heavily spec'd up now, but yeah. What I'm doing is fitting a 1.4 16 valve engine, due to the fact the MPI has got quite a few issues. I'm going to say quite a few issues. The technical term is, well, yeah, a word that I can't really use. Yeah, it's knocking quite badly, as you could have probably heard in there's another video I uploaded. It's got many oil leaks as well, like a good collection of them, mainly being the sump there. Coolant leak as well. That's not just because the radiator's missing, it's this metal pipe has, I think, split as well, so it's doing that. Engine light's on, which means it won't get through another MOT. What else does it do? Oh, it goes on to 3 cylinders as well when you least want it to, mainly when you're overtaking at full throttle, and it just cuts out as well, again mainly when you don't want it to. So for those small list of reasons, this is getting removed, and the 1.4 16 valve over here, which came out of a Polo, this is getting put in. This engine will be getting some modifications before it goes in there. Going to look towards getting it ported and a few little performance mods done. That's not really my expertise. I think my dad's going to look into that. Well, the engine's now out, as you can see. Put up a bit of a fight because there was things that needed cutting, like the exhaust and stuff, because bolts were completely seized. But other than that, yeah, it came out reasonably easy. There's the old engine. And that is going straight to scrap because there is nothing good about it in any way, shape or form. Yeah, horrible engines. And now we're going to start taking the interior out, dashboard and side trims and everything, and then change the wiring over and put the Polo Loom in. So it'll be quite good. It'll actually spec the car up quite a bit as well. Give it trip computer, various other bits and pieces, interior lighting and stuff that the Polos came with that the Fabias never did, especially this Fabia because it's a base model as well. So yeah, should be good fun. Okay, so we now have the dashboard out. Finally found that penny that I dropped. But yes, that's now all out. Wiring is coming through as well, as you can see, just down there. Ouch! Try and get a better view on that. There we go. So yeah, that's the floor loom. That basically just goes to the back for the rear lights and things. So that's going to get pulled up and through, and then the there we go, brace comes out as well, and that means you can pull the loom out and the Hvac unit there, because of, as I said, we're going to be putting this onto air conditioning as well, which is quite easy to do. You just replace the Hvac unit with the other one, which is down there, and in the engine bay you've even got a cutout here in the insulation for where the aircon pipes come through. Then all you need to do is just trim the inside, like with a jigsaw I used on my last car, and just cut the metal work out in there, and then you've got the hole for the pipes to come through. So it's not too bad to do. So did it on that and works perfectly, which is nice. So yeah, retrofitting air conditioning isn't really a huge job to do. Well, it depends how sort of with it you are, so to speak, how good you are at doing things. I've got quite a bit of experience doing this sort of stuff and I really enjoy it, so I'll give anything a go, and I don't find it too hard to do. There's, you know, if you got the bits, it's doable. So yeah, I'm going to crack on and get the rest out now. Okay, so wiring loom's now out as well, and the heater, that's actually upside down. There we go. So yeah, that's the heater there. And now we're left left with not very much. Next job is to pull all this aftermarket wiring out for various other things, because that was basically for stuff that the new loom has built in, like the fog lights and things. And then we're going to put the new heater box in, well, the AC unit, which again goes in the middle. As I said before, there is cutouts and everything for where the aircon would be, so this will just pull out basically, as you can see. And then what I'll need to do is measure and cut a hole in the bulkhead, and that shall be that. There's the throttle pedal, clutch and brake and everything there, the switches and the sort of junction board up there. That's where the dash loom meets the engine and exterior loom. So yeah, it's pretty much completely stripped down now, and that's where the heater pulls the outside air in. And that's for the interior light. So yes, it's all pretty well stripped out now. So what I'm going to do is hoover all the dust and stuff up, because it's yeah, years of crap has built up in unaccessible places. So I'm going to give it a good hoover and then mount the AC unit. And this is a look at the Hvac units in the Fabia and also the Polo. Basically a comparison. They are pretty much identical, apart from this one is getting put in because it's got the air conditioning. As you can see at the back, they are slightly different in shape, but that's because this has AC and that doesn't. But yeah, mounting and everything is just the same, because obviously the same platforms. A few things are different, things like the outlets for the heaters, but these are just removable parts. As you can see, basically just unclips, so you could put this one onto there or whatever. The units themselves are identical. So yes, good old VW in their modular design makes things very cheap. You can keep stuff pretty much the same, because this Fabia has been rebuilt with Polo parts, and as I said, getting an air conditioner fitted as well. Hence the reason there's a space there basically ready to be cut in the bulkhead. So yeah, good fun. I quite enjoy doing this sort of stuff, doing the crazy retrofit. Also an engine upgrade as well. Okay, so a few things have been done. Put the heater box in the new AC unit, as you can see there. So that's the one out of the Polo. Also got loads of new lights as well. Got those stage lights up there, which are pretty bright, as you can see. They're literally spotlight bulbs, so the sort that, like if you see somebody performing on stage and there's a spotlight on them, it's those. And I got a decent wee floodlight as well, so I can actually see what I'm doing properly as well. But yes, aircon units in. AC pipes are loosely mounted as well. I literally just put those on to hold the AC system in. I've cut a hole in the bulkhead there as well, where you can see the pipes coming through there. I cut it a little bit wrong, but it's not a huge issue because there's a huge sort of rubber gasket that goes over, so you can't, you know, you can mess it up a little bit if you want, and it won't make any difference. So yeah, the next job to do now is fit the wiring loom, which is just there, that lovely big mess of wires. And then I can start on the engine loom, because this is all the original MPI stuff, which is no use. So I've got the new loom going in, which is part of the polo one. Touch wood, everything's gone pretty well just now. There hasn't been any issues fitting the polo parts in. Had to change a few bits and pieces here and there, but anything bad, because with it being the same platform, the whole units themselves are the same, the AC units, and that means basically things like where the vents go, those are different, but they're all just sort of clip on. Like so, I had to move the AC sensor from this side to this side. Makes no difference, it's just obviously positioning between the two different cars. So yeah, gonna look towards putting the loom in now and getting all that done. Hello, so we are getting there with the Skoda. It's yeah, pretty well stripped, but I'm actually getting quite a lot of it done. Inside we have got the loom and everything back in, as you can see. This is all the VW Polo wiring. In fact, everything you see here except the dash support is from the Polo. I think it's probably just easier explaining it that way. Yeah, so blower AC unit is all done. We've got the steering column back in and the wiring done, that's all connected. What else? Oh, it's going along the floor, ouch, going along the floor as well, as you can see here. Luckily, the mounting locations for all like the clips and everything that hold the loom in place is exactly the same on the Skoda. There are a few wires and things that are not where they should be, due to the fact the Polo that this loom came out of was a 3-door, and this is obviously a 5-door Fabia. Just bring the light around. There we go. Yeah, so we've got things here likes of well, that's a seatbelt pre-tensioner, and that is the rear speakers, because the Polo had the rear speakers in the back water panel, which would be basically here, which the Fabia doesn't have, well, except the tweeter up there. So yeah, just things like this are going to need to be adapted, which is fine. I don't mind doing that, because obviously the speakers are up here in the Fabia, well, there and there. So there's connectors like the airbag, which can be deleted, and things like this that can be extended, so it's not really an issue. At the back is where things get a little bit weirder. This is the tail light loom. Unfortunately, this plug does look the same as the Fabia one for the back lights, but it's not. It doesn't actually fit. All the wiring colours are the same, but this isn't. So what I'll do is probably just cut these plugs off the old loom that came out and just solder them on, or even just de-pin them. Can get around that anyway. And obviously, again, the back here is different on the Polo, so wire routing is slightly different. For instance, an earth point here, which, where does it go? It doesn't go anywhere. And that's because on the Fabias, the earth point is just there. So we'll just have to, you know, cut things off like this and just extend the wire, and you know, it's not a big issue really. Washer jet as well, a bit of changing and modifications. The boot wiring will need to be adapted as well, because yeah, it's completely different. The plugs again look the same, but I've not tried plugging them in yet. In fact, they won't even reach because of the different lengths. So yeah, that'll need changing. And also the feed for the rear number plate or license plate lights, whatever you want to call them, because on the Polos they're in the back bumper down there, whereas on the Fabia number plate's there. And yes, this is a very rusty tailgate, but luckily I do have another one. There's a red one over there off of the RS, which has a nice spoiler on it. Can I show you it? Or was it buried? Well, you can maybe just see it. But yeah, it's got a spoiler on it, so that's going to get repainted and fitted. So, you know, it's not a big issue. They're just, you know, a few little bits and pieces that need adapting. I'm not surprised this needed done. The rest of the loom in the dash and everything was pretty easy to do. I'll just go around. Bollocks. Fucking light. There we go. I'll just go around the other side and give you a look. So yeah, all the wiring and stuff in the dash was pretty much the same because it is all the same sort of layout between the Fabia and the Polo. This wiring here, helps if I show you it, doesn't it? All this actually goes up into the roof, which the Fabia never had. So I'm going to have to pull the roof line out, which I think will be maybe tomorrow's job or something. So yeah, this goes up for likes of lights in the roof. So I'm going to have to trim little holes in there. Again, not an issue because we put them in at the back there in the past. So yeah, it's all going pretty well, and I'm going to take the roof line out probably tomorrow and also do the engine loom, because once the engine loom's done I can connect this back in. And this stuff here is the sort of cabin to engine connections, so it's all colour coded when they go in, so you can't really mess it up. This is also where you fit cruise control as well. I think it's one of these plugs, I'm not sure which one, but we are thinking of putting cruise into this one, so might as well whilst it's all stripped out, you know. But yeah, it's all done pretty well. You've got a remote central locking key as well, which I may or may not sort out. Problem is the car doesn't have central locking. I'm not too fussed about fitting it, so it's probably just going to get deleted. You know, have it where it's some sort of alarm. We'll figure it out. But yes, it's all gone pretty well. So to anyone who's wondered if a Polo wiring loom will fit a Fabia, yes it does, just a little bit of modification. Okay, so it's been a little while since I've done a video, so I can't remember where we're at last. But today, and sort of last night as well, I had the roof lining out. It's all back in now, mostly. And the reason I did that is because I was running the roof section of the loom up from the Polo, because the Polos have things like sort of you know, mirror lights and stuff, which are all fitted in now. So yep, that's those fitted. And there's the wiring as well that sort of triggers the lights. And also the aerial cable on the Polos, they run up the A-pillar as well, so I just, as I say, had to take everything out. Just made it far easier taking the lining out to do it all properly. And we have some wires floating around just there, and those ones that I cut out of the roof loom because I rewrapped it all. I had to shorten it quite a bit, and those were for the alarm system that this no longer has on it, sort of the alarm sensors. There's also speaker wires here as well, because the Polo used to have the tweeters up here in the A-pillars, whereas on the Fabias it's in the doors here. So, you know, just a little bit of modifications needing done, but it's not a big issue. But today I've been mainly working at the back, sorting out the rear light wiring, which is all done now. I ended up cutting the back section of the Fabia lights out, if that makes sense. So I cut it from the old loom because the plugs were different to the polo ones, but the wire colours luckily were the same. So it's kind of hard to see, but within all this it has been spliced, and there's also things for the tow bar as well. As you can see, there's a tow bar. So that's why it looks a bit messy, but it is actually all good. It was just a pain to solder all the wires and keep it looking reasonably neat. If I didn't have the tow bar installed, it would literally just be joining wires, but it's fine. So it is. But yeah, that's pretty much done. These wires here are now redundant. 2 of these are for the boot light, so when you open the boot, because on the polo it was over at this side. On the Fabia it's going to be on this side. The other 2 are number plate lights, which will be getting routed up to the tailgate wiring, which is just here, for obvious reasons. I'm actually going to put the other tailgate on tonight as well, because I've got the VRS one which has all the correct wiring within it, so that's going to get installed tonight. It is red, but it'll get painted, so it's not a big issue. And that just saves a lot of messing around. So yes, that is where we are just now. There's various other bits I need to do. I'm trying to get most of the electrical stuff done before I tackle mechanicals. I do have the engine loom to take out still. This is all the MPI loom, which is different. I've got the polo loom sitting down there waiting. So yes, all is going pretty well. Once all that's done, I can then put the dash and everything back in, because I'm also going to get a cruise control system as well to fit. So yeah, the dash is pretty much all done now. It's just waiting for the that bit to go back on the dashboard. Okay, so another late night on the Fabia. This is the engine bay again. All the wiring has been stripped out of it now, as you can see there. Old wiring is just sitting up there, and that's the new wiring to go in. That's all the polo stuff. So I'm going to get it sort of placed in position tonight, and probably do all the connections and everything tomorrow. Also fitted a different tailgate, as you can see there. This one, I know it's the wrong colour and it's covered in soot, but this one is actually in a lot better condition, because it's it's a VRS one, so it has the roof spoiler for a start, and it has got the correct electrics in it. It's got the boot release button and everything, which the other tailgate didn't have, and it's just far easier changing the whole tailgate instead of the wiring. And this one is solid underneath here, whereas the other one is rotten, which I might be able to show you. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's rust under there. So for that reason, I fitted the red tailgate, which will be getting painted as well. So that's not a big issue. So the colour's irrelevant. It's in better condition, so. So yeah, gonna get the dash loom and everything fitted tonight, and that should be that. Okay, so this mutant of a car is starting to come back together. I'm just doing a bit of testing just now on the electrics, because obviously I put all the loom and everything in. Yeah, most of it seems to be working okay. There is an earth fault with the back lights, which isn't super concerned at this moment in time. I've just got them unplugged, because if I plug them in, a lot of weird things happen. So yeah, inside we've got the dash in, as you can see here. There's the dash cluster all lit up in typical VW style with a load of warning lights on. But that's not a big issue at the moment. I just need to clear some codes and obviously fit the engine back in and various other bits and pieces. But I was just wanting to test sort of like the body electrics, and yeah, everything seems to be working okay. Yeah. So yeah, we are getting there with it. It's definitely a interesting process, to put it politely. But yeah, it's good fun. As I say, there's a few electrical things I need to sort out because it's a Polo Loom and a Fabia. I could have, you know, engine swapped for another Fabia, but I kind of like doing a challenge and making something completely weird and unique, which this definitely is. No, it is getting there. Just a few faults I need to sort out with the electrics, mainly there's an earth fault with the rear lights, I think. But yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so it's been a few days, so I can't remember where we were on the videos, but yeah, all the dash loom and everything is in place. Polo loom, dashboard's going back together. What I'm now doing is making the best way of describing it is a cut and shut wiring loom. I have picked up another sort of cutting of wiring out of it was a Fabia VRS, funnily enough. And what that is for is because all the back of the loom, all this stuff, basically is different to the Polo. Because the Polo's got things like number plate lights down there, and various other bits and pieces. So what I've done is cut the loom out of a Fabia VRS, put it into here, and now basically joining the two looms together. So that's a Fabia loom and here is the Polo loom. So all the wiring colours are about 98% the same. So what I'm doing is I'm joining them together with one of these at the moment for testing purposes, and then when I've made sure everything works as it should, they'll be getting soldered and re-insulated. So yeah, I'm getting there. I was at the breakers yesterday getting various bits and pieces. We've also got in this bag a cam cover with basically brand new cams in it. Can't show you because it's all wrapped up, but it's for that 16 valve engine because it's got a slight top end tap. So just picked up another cam cover. Even all the hydraulic tappets or lifters, whatever you call them, are there as well. So that'll be part of another video. So yeah, I'm just getting all the wiring sorted just now.